Welcome to the Transparent FX Academy. If you're new to the channel, I'm Nick and I've been a top hodler on TradingView for many years, as well as being one of the only traders with a fully verified MyFXBook third-party track record. So if you want to elevate your trading, you're definitely in the right place. So subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So take a second, pause the video, read the disclaimer, and I will see you on the charts. In this video, I'll speak about USDJPY. Now, as usual, to keep the video as educational as possible, first I'll give you the technical aspect for this market, then I'll move to the commitment of traders analysis to see what institutions in the market are doing and how they are moving and shifting their orders, and then I'll put together these two different types of analysis. So this is definitely a video you do not want to miss. Now, starting here from the monthly time frame, what we can see is that we have a market which at the moment is rejecting to the upside a quite strong historical monthly demand and support zone. From here, all these previous rejections to the upside have been created. Every single time the market tested this zone, it rejected it to the upside quite aggressively, and all these pushes to the upside were fueled by strong institutional buying. And at the moment, we can see the same thing. The market is testing and rejecting to the upside again this historical monthly demand and support with strong institutional buying, which is something that we will see in just a few moments when we move to the commitment of traders analysis. But for now, let's keep in mind that on the monthly, everything is quite bullish. And let's drop down on the weekly time frame. Now, from a weekly perspective, what we can notice here is a perfect inversion of structure and trend. In fact, what we can notice is that the market here went from the creation of weekly lower lows and lower highs. So clearly the market was in a downtrend. We then had the creation of this triple bottom, exactly this zone, and the market inverted back to the creation of weekly higher highs and higher lows. So we had a perfect inversion of trend from a weekly bearish market back to a weekly bullish market. So an inversion from the creation of weekly lower lows and lower highs to now, with this triple bottom being created here, the creation of weekly higher highs and higher lows. So on the weekly, everything looks quite bullish. Just a quick interruption. Let me know in the comments below if you have any new pairs or topics that you would like me to cover in the next videos, because I'm always open to suggestions. Dropping down on the daily time frame, what do we have? Now here on the daily, the situation looks quite clear. Now, I spoke about USDJPY just a few days ago when the market was around this area, and from here I made a full breakdown explaining all the reasons for which I was expecting this rejection to the upside, and in fact that is exactly what the market did. And then again, when the market was here, I explained all the reasons for which I was expecting the retest of this level, and then from here a new rejection to the upside, and again that is exactly what the market did. And by the way, I will link in description these two previous analyses so you can go and check them out for more free education. But at the moment, what do we have? Well, here on the daily, the situation is very clear. We have a market which has just created new structure by breaking above the previous high, because as we know, when the market is creating an uptrend, is creating a series of higher highs and higher lows, usually the market will go and retest the previous high. In other words, the previous resistance, which at that point is turned support. And so far, that is exactly what has happened here. We had first the previous high, which was at this level. The market broke it to the upside, went for the retest, broke it to the upside again, creating a new break above the previous higher high, which again is now new previous resistance that is now turned support. So there is a possibility for another test here and a new rejection to the upside, essentially continuing the uptrend and continuing the creation of daily higher highs and higher lows. Now, another thing that we must notice is that if we zoom out, we have the strongest level of supply and resistance currently at this zone. This was the area from which all this previous downtrend was created. This area should act as a magnet for the price, because usually what the market wants to do is go and test these kind of areas to see what kind of liquidity we have inside of them. And usually what you see is the continuation of the uptrend inside of this area, and then a strong rejection to the downside, at least a short-term rejection to the downside. Now, if we move to the commitment of traders analysis and we look at the data for the JPY, the first thing that we have to keep in mind is that we don't have the very last few reports because of the US government shutdown. But institutions take months to actually change their positioning because, as you know, in the market, for every buyer, there needs to be a seller. For every seller, there needs to be a buyer. If there isn't enough liquidity in the market in a specific moment to satisfy the full order, what happens is that institutions most of the times have to spread out their orders in time. That is why we see the net positions changing in months instead of changing instantly. And what we can see, in fact, is that net positions have been decreasing massively on the JPY in the last months, going from 179K all the way down to 79K. This means that institutions have been shorting the JPY, so longing USDJPY, because all currencies on the spot are traded against the USD. So if you're shorting the JPY, you're longing USDJPY. And what we can see, in fact, is that institutions increased their shorts from 21K up to 96K and decreased their longs from 204K down to 176K. So institutions are opening shorts and closing longs on the JPY, which means that they're opening longs and closing shorts on USDJPY. So they're making USDJPY stronger by longing it. Let's keep that in mind and move back to the chart. And by the way, if you still haven't, make sure that you join my free Telegram channel, which you'll find linked in the description so you never miss new updates. Now back to the analysis. So in a situation like this, in which the market has already bounced away from two very important levels, which are the ones that I described in my previous analysis. In a situation like this, the next interesting level for me, unless new structure is created inside of here, is this zone here. So since there is all this institutional buying which has gone on, I wouldn't be surprised to see the market go higher and go and test what kind of liquidity we have inside of this zone. So if the market will go and test what kind of liquidity we have inside of this area, what would I expect? Well, as usual, and as my students know very well, trading is reactive and not predictive. The monthly, weekly, and daily time frames combined with the COT data, those are the best time frames when it comes to the directional aspect of the market. However, when it comes to identifying early shifts in the trend of a market, the best time frames for that are the intraday time frames, so 4 hour and lower. Therefore, what I would expect is that if this market would shift from an intraday bullish to a bearish market, I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential rejection to the downside away from this area for the market to react to the strong supply zone that we have around this zone. That definitely wouldn't surprise me. Now, everything that you see me share here on YouTube is just the tip of the iceberg. In fact, if you want to learn more, I really suggest that you head over to my website, which you find linked in the description. Here, you have the possibility to gain access to the best mentorship program in the world. You can get all my courses ranging from the very basics of charting all the way to the more advanced topics. You also have the possibility to gain access to the trading station software with the Telegram notification integrations, one-on-one private mentoring directly with me, the COT data software, which is the software that you often see me use in my analysis. And you also have the possibility to gain access to the entertaining live trading show. So essentially a live stream of all my trades as they're happening live every day. So my entries, exits, how I manage the positions, all streamed live every single day essentially in this Telegram channel, which is obviously private just for members. You also have the possibility to gain access to all my EAs. So essentially all my strategies, which you can then customize to your own preference. And here you see breakdowns of each and every one of my strategies, including a 10-year historical backtest of the strategy on high quality tick data. So essentially backtested on live charts. So basically, I would suggest that you go and check these ones out. And if you continue to scroll down past the testimonials, you will see that you have the possibility to join and gain automatically access with the email and password that you will create during the checkout process. So I really suggest to at least go and check it out. The link is in the description and I will see you in it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure that you drop a like and a comment. It really helps with the creation of new free analysis and education, and I will see you in my next video.